I was reading this article right here. There wasn't really much to read in this article, but I do want to say this is very interesting what was brought out here. Now, this article came out September of 2024, September 14th. It basically just give you some basically goofy little stats about the Charger Daytona, but this was not what I found interesting about this article. The most interesting thing I found about this article was it was saying that this will be a new Dodge crossover in 2026. The weather's warming up, which means it is time to bring your favorite ride out of hibernation. And what better way to kick off the season than by saving up to 15% off on the top aftermarket accessories for your muscle car, pony car, truck, or SUV. My friends at Just Bolt-Ons and DragRacingWheels.com have you covered. Use my promo code BUTTER at checkout, and if you need some sticky Mickeys, you got till March 31st to save up to $100 on a set of tires. So don't wait. Hit up my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and DragRacingWheels.com, where the best deals online just got even better. So what new vehicle it is going to be for Dodge? Because if you look at this chart right here, you basically got a Charger Daytona EV and then a regular Dodge Charger. So I think the top half of this chart is for EVs and the bottom half of the chart is for regular gasoline version. And so basically you have right here a Dodge Charger EV in 2025, a Dodge new crossover in 2026, a 2027 new Dodge Durango, which was supposed to be EV only at first. And then now you have right here in 2028, a brand new version of the 2028 Dodge Hornet. So basically a fresh and new design of the Dodge Hornet EV and a actual Dodge Hornet gasoline version. So I found this very interesting. Like I said, this came just in September of last year. And that's very interesting that Dodge is going to get a brand new crossover. And I knew Dodge was going to get a car. Who's calling me now? Oh, Lord. Yes, hello? So my birthday cake should be done by 3 o'clock. But back to this video right here, or the clip, well, this is going to be cut into a video, but I'm going to cut this part out. But basically, this is very interesting that they reported that Dodge is going to get a crossover in 2026. So the thing is, what is this vehicle going to be? And I have no idea what it's going to be. Like I said, I knew that Dodge is going to get a new vehicle within the next 2 years. I don't know exactly what it's going to be because, you know, there's a lot of stuff floating around there and you never know with all the stuff getting shaken up and now Tavares is gone, what Dodge is going to actually get now. It would be pretty cool that if there's a new Dodge crossover, that right there could be a new Magnum. And I think if they make a new Magnum crossover, that would actually be pretty cool. Something a little bit taller than the Charger, a little bit longer than the Hornet, but based basically on like the Charger's platform. Could you imagine basically like a little crossover Magnum that basically has like an inline 6 in there or a small, or maybe just a 5.7 in there, and that's a crossover for Dodge? I mean, that'd be pretty cool if this is the case. Okay, so that segment you watched from a live stream that I did about a week ago when it was my birthday. So I basically want to kind of get into more because I didn't necessarily really talk about why I think this could be a brand new Magnum in that particular segment. So I won't talk about that here, but it does make sense for Dodge to make a Magnum-based crossover basically out of the Charger Daytona. And there's a lot of reasons why. Now, one particular reason why is because they already have a vehicle to base this car off of. They can actually just stretch out the actual hatch area of the Charger Daytona and actually build into a wagon, and then boom, they have another vehicle, especially out of the 4-door version of the Charger Daytona. So we could be seeing the makings of a new car they can relatively bring out pretty fast, because that diagram basically said in 2026 that Dodge will have a crossover. And so a quick way to make a crossover that no one's really seen is to make one out of an existing car. Because the Charger Daytona is very big. It is like very, very, very stupidly big. It's literally the same wheelbase as a Grand Cherokee L. So to me, an actual 4-door version of the Charger Daytona with an actual hatch area would make perfect sense. And this could be the return of a Magnum. Now, the Magnum, from what I've seen from actually looking at interviews with what was that? Ralph Giles. Ralph Giles basically said the only reason why the Magnum was discontinued was because they needed to make room at Brampton for the actual Challenger, because at the time the Charger was made, then the Challenger was coming in, and he said they didn't have enough room at the time to make another vehicle at Brampton. So I'll probably put a clip in that we talked about it right here to support my theory.
When we showed the Magnum concept car to Car and Driver before it was revealed, we had a little preview. You have to understand we were just we're still with the Germans back then, and Germans love these powerful station wagons. They're crazy about them. So we got it proved in 2 seconds when we showed the sketch of the Magnum. Now the story about the Magnum, the reason it died was to make room for the Challenger. So we could only make 3 cars at the plant. We couldn't make 4. So something had to give, and we knew the Challenger was going to be a hit.
So if the actual Magnum was not discontinued because of poor sales or whatever, and it was basically just discontinued because they had to make room for the Challenger, then why not bring it back? And then now, I swear I saw on a podcast that Matt McClure said that a Charger Daytona is going to be exported to Europe, and Europeans like wagons. So it makes a lot of sense for Dodge to bring back the Magnum, and then they can actually export it to Europe and other countries to actually, get more uses out of that platform. So there's a lot of evidence to suggest that yes, a Magnum version of the Charger Daytona could be coming, and especially like since it's based off Charger Daytona, that it means it should fit inline 6 engines, and then it should fit Hemi engines that are going to come probably sometime either late this year or next year. So I just want to add this section right here into this video because I necessarily didn't go into depth into why I think that this could be a Magnum. This is going to be very interesting. So is this going to be a Journey or a Magnum? That's the only 2 guesses I could think that this new vehicle is going to be. And I'm surprised no one really picked up on this. And this was released back in September 14th, 2024. So Almo News had to go say something or got this information from somewhere. And I don't think there's anything else to the story other than that. Yeah, there's nothing else to the story other than this chart, which I thought this chart was pretty interesting. So this could be an actual car that Tim Knissis was hinting at during Demo 7 revealed in Las Vegas, that there was multiple cars coming. That would be interesting. And there's no other thing that I can think of. I mean, maybe this car was based off of the Chrysler Airflow. So maybe Dodge is going to get this vehicle right here, but rebrand as a Dodge vehicle. So, I mean, that could be an option right there. I think it will work. It just depends on what is it going to be. Like, is it going to be EV only, or is it going to have gasoline options? I mean, if you had like a crossover, like I have not seen this crossover in person, so I don't know how long the wheelbase. They just keep saying that it's a long wheelbase. So maybe they rebadge this Airflow into a Dodge vehicle because Christine Fuel, who's currently the actual brand CEO for Chrysler, she said she doesn't want to bring this vehicle out anymore because it's not aggressive enough or whatever. So maybe Dodge brings this as the new crossover or whatever. I mean, that'd be very interesting to see if that's the case. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about right here. And they was going to make this car right here at the Windsor assembly plant where they make the actual the Charger at anyway. So could this be a new next generation Dodge vehicle rebadged? Could this be like a Journey or a Magnum or whatever? So, I mean, this would be very interesting. It looks bigger than a Hornet. You know what? This might be on the same drivetrain and the same chassis, cellular large, as the actual Charger Daytona because, it is. It has to be because they're going to build this at the exact same plant that the Charger Daytona is at, right? They're going to make this and the Charger Daytona side by side on the same line. So it has to be within 113 inches to 121 inch wheelbase. And the Hornet, let me see how big the Hornet wheelbase is. Okay, so the Dodge Hornet's wheelbase is 103 inches. So this vehicle right here would be at least 10 inches longer than a Hornet. So this would be a bigger segment vehicle. So this could be a new Journey. This could be a Dodge Journey. And with it being a cellular large, it can have an inline 6 Hurricane. So that means this right here, this crossover could fit a Hemi in there. They could make it fit if they redesign it for Dodge. And that will probably be a pretty good move because there's no vehicles that slot in between the Hornet and the Durango, and the Durango for a lot of people is too big. They don't want like a big giant 3-row SUV. So this could be a nice Journey, especially with an inline 6 Journey, and then you can do an SRT model off of this. Like I can imagine them changing sheet metal on this right here, but they can definitely make this a Dodge vehicle if they definitely make it cheap. Okay, so just to close this video out, I think that these are 2 pretty good options for Dodge to explore, and it makes a lot of sense for both these options to exist because they can easily make a wagon out of the Charger and the Charger Daytona, and then that way have another vehicle that can sell off the same line with basically minimum changes because all they really got to do is change the hatchback area and that's different, basically different glass, a hatch, and that's basically about it. They can have a brand new vehicle in the segment, and then that vehicle can be sold worldwide because wagons are very popular in other regions around the world. So that'd be a pretty good option. Or with the actual Airflow, rebadge it as a Journey, and then that could actually sell as a nice, decent mid-size SUV. I don't think no one really had a problem with how the actual Airflow looked. Will Dodge have the Magnum and it still be around $40,000 base price? Or could they go the actual Journey route and have something in the $30,000 range to, you know, bring more people back into Dodge and be a more mainstream seller? So my money is on basically a Journey replacement than a Magnum replacement, but I think a Magnum replacement would be a pretty cool option, right? You know, based off the wheelbase off of the Charger, the Charger Daytona, it'd be like 121 inches. So that basically be right there at a mid-size SUV territory. Something like a Traverse, I think, is like 121 inches. I know a Grand Cherokee L is like 121 inches. So that's how big an actual Magnum would be. Now, if they actually went and try to make something smaller, maybe that with the Airflow, I don't know how big the Airflow was. I could never find a wheelbase length for how big the Airflow was, but if they try to bring that back down to the Journey size, I believe the Journey's wheelbase was like 112 inches. So that's a lot more smaller than what the actual Charger Daytona and the Charger is. So if they want like a mid-size SUV that'll fit down in that range, that'll probably work. I think the actual Hornet is like maybe like 103, 109, somewhere around there. So it'll still be a little bit bigger than a Hornet, but this could work as a small mid-size SUV within Dodge in a segment that they need to bring back sales. So let me know what you guys think. Which vehicle do you think makes more sense for Dodge to bring back? Does it make more sense for Dodge to bring back the Magnum, or could they bring back a replacement to the Journey with one of these vehicles? And both of them should be made there at Windsor, whichever one they decide, because the Charger Daytona and the Charger we made at Windsor, and this Airflow was supposed to be made at Windsor too. So whichever design they pick, that Windsor assembly plant is going to basically gain some vehicle. But it'd be interesting to see whether or not Dodge comes out with one of these vehicles, because this was a plan, I guess, before Cosverse got fired and Stellantis started to put on hold some of the actual vehicles they're supposed to come out with. The Compass is on hold, the Ram Rev is on hold, I think the Chrysler replacement is on hold. So could we see this in 2026, or could it be delayed to sometime 2027? But let me know what you guys think. What makes more sense? What do you guys think Dodge would do, and which one you guys hope will come out? Like I said, I think a Magnum will be cool, but my money's on actual Journey replacement. That is indeed what this actual chart that I saw on Automotive News actually was for. So let me know what you guys think, and until the next time, I'm out.